Hello and welcome to 5th Series 9 Metagame Monday, where I take a look at popular team archetype and explain how and why its sets work, how to beat it, and how it matches up against other archetypes in form of replays. So as you might have heard from my commented post, I played quite literally played 500 games in past 5 days in preparation for Players Cup 4. So I have became a little bit insane in my mind, so I took like 2 days break. So this Metagame Monday is it's going to be Metagame Tuesday or Wednesday based on how I feel. Like seriously, if you're gonna play like 500 games, it's gonna get on your mind. You are gonna get visibly frustrated from playing some weird stuff. You're going to get paranoid, like what? Does this beat you? Is this that thing that I lost to? Is this something I should worry about in preparation for the tournament? Usually it's not the case. Yeah, so sorry for rambling about this at the start of the video. Let's get to it, because it had some mind-boggling side effects, but also it gave me great insight of what people play. 500 games, like, yeah. So, this is what is supposed to be probably the most common thing you're gonna see soon at your tournament. Basically, for some reason, people started running this item on Grimmsnarl, Lagging Tail. So what does Lagging Tail do? Basically, Lagging Tail makes you move last in your priority bracket. So that means if you go for fake tiers, you're still gonna get priority +1, but you're gonna be moving last in that priority +1. So watch out. If you won't run fake out, you are always gonna get outsped with fake out. Of course, you're still gonna get it first before stuff like Earthquake. But if Incineroar fakes you out, even with minimum speed, they're gonna still fake you out. So watch out for that. I made that mistake like quite many times while I was running this Grimmsnarl. I ran like a lot of speeds to win as many speed dice, but then I realized, oh my goodness, look at that item, Lagging Tail. So let's actually start with Grimmsnarl. So this Grimmsnarl is a little bit different from the other. That's because we are running light screen. You're gonna see why, because I will need it in one of the matchups later. I'm gonna show you. Also, light screen matches supports this team quite well. If you're seeing like Garchomp and Celesteela, they are very much weaker to special attacks like Thunderbolt and Ice Beam. So getting that extra special bulk in is quite important for both of those. Fake tiers combos well with Regieleki and Celesteela Dynamaxes, as they're both special attackers. And Spirit Break is your go-to move. Basically, it's good for your support turn to not be completely passive. This is why we got Spirit Break. Now the EV spread is you can decide what you want to run. I believe I'm gonna show you some examples though. With this defensive investment, you take Miracle Seed Wood Hammer, guaranteed. With Reflect, if you would run Reflect, you would take it at -1. I believe I wanted to run that for some reason, but I decided to go for a little bit more special bulk, since there's just so many more Steel Spike, Celesteela Spoon, Flash Cannon, and I do not want to get hit too hard with that. I believe you need like only this much investment to take the max Steel Spike, but I decided to go a little bit more special defense, so we take stuff like Max Lightning from Focus Sash Regieleki, or Max Lightning from Magnet Regieleki, excuse me. With Magnet, you take that probably, but of course you do not take the modest Rising Voltage Life Orb one. You just cannot ever take that. But with this investment, you take the weaker variant of Regieleki. Alright, so this is the Grimmsnarl. Celesteela is basically, I'd say, the most important part of the whole team. It's visible why though. It got Beast Boost to snowball out of control. It got Max Airstream to snowball out of control. So this combos very well with each other. Also, Celesteela only got 2 weaknesses. It also got Assault Vests, which complements its great bulk. Actually, not so great bulk, because we're running max speed. So basically, a lot of Celesteelas are running Modest Nature, with max speed, so they outspeed Urshifu after a +1 speed boost, so they are not bothered with stuff like Surging Strikes and Wicked Blow, hitting them too hard. Trust me, it hits Celesteela quite hard, so getting that outspeed is quite important. But I chose to run Timid, because if we manage to get Electro up against opposing Regieleki, +1 Timid outspeeds -1 Regieleki by 1 point, and we can get stuff like Max Rockfall against that Regieleki out. We avoid Thunderbolt, we get special attack boost, we are golden, you know. So this is why I'm running Timid Nature on this Celesteela personally. And the last move is Flamethrower. You need that for Mirrors, and you need that for Metagross, so do not experiment around with stuff like Energy Ball. That is that you just don't want to do that. So Garchomp is the another major role. Basically, I'd say the second most important Pokemon on this team, because as you might know, I recommended Garchomp as one of the main anti-Regieleki team enthusiastics. Basically, the advantage Garchomp has over Landorus is that it's not weak to water, which means it's not going to be weak to Surging Strikes from Urshifu. It also outspeeds Urshifu, so it gets Max Dragon before they can attack, which might weaken the close combat. It's just great, alright? But most importantly, it completely levels out Celesteela's, Regieleki. So, and honestly, quite honestly, I think this is Regieleki is the only Celesteela weakness we got in this metagame, quite literally. Because like with the Southwest, you take like the far types. I mean, okay, let's be honest. Some teams with Charizard and Torkoal hurt Celesteela pretty hard as well, but this Garchomp got Max Rockfall for Charizard and Max Quick for Torkoal, so I think Garchomp like basically complements Celesteela perfectly, right? Landorus, again, I'm gonna take it as an example, gets outsped by Charizard. There is Chimex Flamethrower gonna come out, and you take too much damage. Again, Garchomp outspeeds and simply removes the Sun, removes the Charizard, no problem whatsoever. So Garchomp is much better Pokemon next to Celesteela than the Landorus. Sword Stance is basically there to punish some passive positions. Some people might just straight up like switch around, switch to Intimidate to try to weaken the Garchomp, which would hamper its Dynamax sweep capabilities. So what you want is, against some more passive teams, you need to set up Sword Stance so you get away, so you just get over the Intimidate drop and then you sweep, alright? So if you see too much Intimidate, you need to go for Sword Stance. If you plan, of course, on sweeping with Garchomp, you can sweep with stuff like Celesteela or Regieleki itself. Now, I did something what I absolutely despise, and that is I ran max speed Regieleki. But Regieleki is like, basically Celesteela and Garchomp are the main Dynamax sweepers, and Regieleki is like the third in line. The other team I explained on this series before was completely Regieleki focus team, but here Regieleki is like the Pokemon I used to counteract Celesteela with, so I basically, excuse me 1 second, Natachim! Ushdu! Alright, my mom came home from work, so I had to just know that. Alright, so Regieleki is like the third in line to Dynamax, and this is why we run max speed. Max speed is still absolutely excellent. It just still outspeeds stuff like Thundurus at +1 speed, outspeeds Charizard at +1 speed, it outspeeds a lot of stuff on Earth Element, like Life Orb Lapras was quite popular on Earth Element at one point, and it just outspeeds that and electro-webs that. And of course, it comes with benefit of being able to speed out with Regieleki, electro-web them, and then Celesteela outspeeds and one-shots them. If it's at +1 speed, that is. So, I believe we do not have Focus Sash on this team. Regieleki could run Focus Sash on this team, but I fear there is, we're gonna Rockfall at one point or another with any of both of these mons. Like, for example, if you're bringing Garchomp against the Sun team, you're gonna use Max Rockfall. If you're bringing Celesteela against, like, many balanced teams, you're gonna use Max Rockfall to try to straight up annoy Incineroar from... Well, you're not gonna launch at Incineroar, of course. You will do like, I'd say 70%, but that already, like, it's almost a necessity that at one point you're gonna use Max Rockfall to weaken the Incineroar. Of course, if you use Volt Switch plus a Strokefall, you're gonna finish off Incineroar, so that's one combo you can do. But this is why, like, I fear to run Focus Sash on this. I might as well run Magnet to boost the power, so it's gonna be more useful overall. That's the way I like this Regieleki. Now, the last two slots are very mundane. I'm gonna present you some replacements for this, but basically, Fini plus Incineroar allows this team to have some semblance of a Trick Room matchup. Also, I have to note, Grimmsnarl's Trick is absolutely fantastic against a lot of Trick Room teams, since with Trick, you're usually going to trick their main Dynamax Sweeper or their Trick Room setter. And that means you're going to trick away Eviolite from stuff like Dusclops and Porygon 2. They're going to move also last, which makes them not be able to recover / pain split in time. So Trick is absolutely excellent to debilize the main Trick Room setters, but it is still not enough. Celesteela plus Grimmsnarl are not enough to handle the Trick Room matchup. I would say Incineroar could handle the Trick Room matchup on its own alongside Celesteela, but Fini you're basically playing it safe with Fini. And these are absolutely no-brainer sets. I believe, I'm not sure what was I doing here with this EV spread. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. Yeah, I'm gonna probably run something like this. So basically, you take Max Quake from Venusaur. Yeah, you take Life Orb Max Quake from Glastrier, I believe. And you also take Max Quake from Landorus with this defensive investment. And the rest of it is put into attacks. So we one-shot Venusaur with Flare Blitz and Sun. And rest of the EV spread is put into the speed. Taunt is to prevent some shenanigans from, like, maybe Grimmsnarl, maybe Porygon 2. You can, of course, run replacements like Snarl and Darkest Lariat if you feel like it's important. And this Fini is, again, complete basic stuff. Calmite leftovers allow it to not stall out, but beat a lot of special attackers like Torkoal and Yuri Impulse last Porygon 2 in the back. And they can just kind of reverse sweep these most of the time. Moonblast, Moneyboulder are the stabs, so you won't run the stab attacks, and Protect has nice synergy with leftovers. Now, this is not the end of this section of me. Yeah, these are the replacements. Okay, so basically you can also run replacements. So you can run like different moves on Grimmsnarl, as I've mentioned. Taunt and Fake Out are probably the most common moves you won't run at like Intel Grimmsnarl. Clefairy could be run instead of the Grimmsnarl, since as you might have seen, Regieleki would appreciate the helping hand support to just throw a bunch of everything. Celesteela would appreciate it, of course, with helping hand boost. You one-shot stuff like Thundurus, you one-shot stuff like Incineroar, get a free special attack boost, and then you sweep even easier. And of course, Garchomp would greatly appreciate some cover with Follow Me, so it can set up the Swords Dance much more safely. So, Clefairy is no brainer. I think Urshifu Water type would fit this team a lot better. Dark type Urshifu is just an option, but Water type Urshifu could be run instead of the type of Fini. But Protect and Focus Sash, it's also a decent check the Trick Room, because it's basically resistant to Max Hellstorm from Glastrier, and with some Steel Spike Beast from Celesteela, it takes the attacks from Glastrier very easily. So suddenly Max Quakes do not do that much damage, and you can Protect, and you can basically stall out a Trick Room pretty well with Urshifu as well, as it got pretty good defense, as you see here. Now, if you got Urshifu already on a team, you could replace the Incineroar already with Rillaboom and create quite a good late game cleanup combo with Rillaboom plus Urshifu. Urshifu plus Water plus Rillaboom with Assault Vest is quite arguably the best cleanup combo in the game. They got everything: Fake Out, Priority in Grassy Glide, Focus Sash, and Assault Vest are based like bulk items. Woodhammer is great, powerful move. Of course, you would have to compromise by running some different item on the Celesteela, or maybe running Miracle Seed on the Rillaboom and running Protect, which that makes you pretty much able to withstand Fake Out from opponents. Like, for example, they bring in their Fake Outer in late game, you can just double Protect. All right, so that's great. But again, I'm gonna say it's gonna hamper your Trick Room counter ability, so I would say restrain yourself from running Rillaboom. Just run Urshifu if you want. And last but not least, of course, you can run light like Grimmsnarl with dual screens to increase the bulk overall. The team appreciates it, alright? Fini, Incineroar, Celesteela, Garchomp are all bulky mons, and if they get extra layer of bulk, they're gonna appreciate it. And of course, you still got, like me, enough move slots for fake tiers, so you do not remove the sweeper ability from Celesteela by any means, so yeah. That's that. So with that, I'm gonna go over the matchup session in just a second. Alright, before I go over the Sun matchup, I just remembered why I ran this weird EV spread on the Incineroar. So basically, what you do is you manipulate the Porygon 2 to get attack boost. So basically download calculates both your defense and special defense of both of the opponent's Pokemon, and then raises the stat of the lower stat it found, the lower combined defense or lower combined special defense. But this investment with this special defense and special defense here, and defense here, we are gonna force Porygon 2 to get attack boost, which is extraordinarily important in beating this matchup. So yeah, let me just go to showdown replay. It shows well. Alright, so let's go over this. Alright. So basically this is their best lead. Venusaur plus Torkoal won't work for Flare Blitz and Max Quake reasons. Same applies for Regieleki plus Urshifu lead. So they have to go with Porygon 2 and Landorus to counteract this. We're gonna be a little bit we're gonna be trying to be smart. So basically we take the Max Quake here. And we're gonna Parting Shot off against the Porygon 2, so we lower the special attack. We're gonna switch back to Garchomp. I don't see the Ice Beam coming ever into the Incineroar slot. So, alright, we're gonna lower the special attack even more. We then basically drop the attack twice and special attack twice. Now we're gonna set up the light screen. We're gonna set up the Swords Dance, and we're gonna go for a reverse sweep. Yeah, look at this. This did actually like dangerous damage, but you're gonna see this is like no problem. You're straight up gonna launch at the Porygon 2. Landorus will probably try the U-turn, so it just gains momentum and does a little bit of a stingy damage to the Garchomp as well. Now I believe we switch to Fini to try to counteract the Sleep Powder with a special attack drop, light screen, and special defense rise. We're going to be able to survive the Leaf Storm, and we're going to go for Max Dragon. So if opponent tries to juggle between Landorus and Venusaur back and forth, we're going to be KOing Landorus even with the back. And we would take the, of course, we would take the Heat Wave as well. And this is pretty much an easy late game. Also, I believe I get Hex to Oblivion here. Also, I believe I ran the wrong Grimmsnarl here, but it didn't really matter. Yeah, because Muddy Water would KO the Landorus here, and Torkoal is just not doing anything. Yeah, so yeah, basically that would be it. Just fake TS and Muddy Water and KO the Landorus. And the problem was he just crit me here. Through the reflect. But yeah, I think it still showcases the matchup. Like, it's fine enough, right? So yeah, basically, I would maybe even say as yeah, so basically just fake tears to Landorus, go for Calm Mind, and then Muddy Water to Landorus for the KO, and the game is pretty much over. Yeah, that's that. So let's go over the next matchup I want to explain. Also realized he could get 2 fake tears off against the Landorus, and he could possibly just go for Protect to get even more leftovers for recovery. So yeah, the previous matchup is out of oblige completely. Alright, so let me explain this matchup. So this is the mirror matchup, right? Absolute mirror. And this team is heavily run on letter. I have seen this exact variant a lot of times. So how do you approach this matchup? So you're gonna see. Basically, Regieleki plus Celesteela lead is the most safest one. You want to play the long game though, alright? You want to play the long game. So basically, Regieleki goes for Electro Web, basically trying to slow down the Regieleki, maybe just to get some chip damage off, and Celesteela would get some chip damage off as well. But as you can see here, Celesteela with the a little bit of a chip it received is not going to be able to prevail right here. Even though Celesteela has the good matchup against Garchomp, especially if there is attack drop on Garchomp and Celesteela gets defense boost, this is still not good enough. So basically, Celesteela, that crit didn't matter. And, well, I mean, we should have probably protected here, right? Because there is no reason to fear that. But basically, the idea was that opponent got nowhere to run. And even if Regieleki would get knocked out, the Incineroar in the back still serves the purpose. Like, they would have to leave Garchomp out in the open to Earthquake, which would also knock their Eleki out if that is your worry. And if we knock out a Garchomp first, our Eleki survives. If they attack first, an Earthquake, they kill their Eleki. So basically, they got nowhere to run, and their Celesteela is assault by state, so there is no way it can protect from the Thunderbolt. So this was an easy one, alright? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. This matchup made me realize how important it is to have Trick like and Tail on your Grimmsnarl. So basically, the game let speak for itself. So basically, this is going to be one of those long games against Dusclops, that Dusclops also has Haze to remove the defense and special attack boost. So this matchup could get, you know what, it's like quite depressing for the Celesteela owner. So basically what I did here, I tried to chip away the Incineroar. Unfortunately, I got a critical hit, but with the Figgy Berry, it would have been at the absolutely the same range, so it didn't really matter. Also, I'm gonna note, Trick like and Tail does not make the opponent slower immediately. Basically, the instant speed change that they introduced in this generation only affects, and I quote, only affects speed and not priority. So yeah, if you some encore shenanigans also just are good to mention. Also, I believe Haze was required to, for example, knock out. Alright, this Haze is quite interesting. So basically, I believe the Haze was used just so the Dusclops can get rid of the Intimidate drop that the Glastrier might have suffered through this turn. Also, it removed the special defense drops, but a little bit too late because the Lagging Tail was in effect. So, yeah. Also, yeah, so let's just continue watching the replay. We survived the Max Quake with our great EVing. We're gonna taunt the Dusclops so it can never go for Pain Split again, which it probably goes for this turn. But would, regardless of the situation, we would get the special attack boost, which is just great, you know. Incineroar comes in, I believe I parting shot it. Garchomp comes in, and that thing just, whew, that is the ultimate cleanup machine. Yeah, basically we still, like, yeah, see here, even if they got Figgy Berry, this Earthquake would still just knock out, but I decided to go for Sword Dance for some reason. Oh yeah, I believe that that's because I wanted to counteract the Tapu Fini in the back, but I believe Earthquake might have been a little bit smarter, because this way I might Incineroar back immediately, and it's just gonna get a little bit ugly. Yeah, Earthquake, this is gonna be, I believe, Muddy Water. And yeah, let's just go hyper fast. Yeah, basically we Sports Dance here for free, and then Earthquake just finishes it off. As long as we hit. By the way, if you're ever seeing like some kind of error in my game plans, let me know in the comments. As I've said before, I butchered these replays after playing 400 games, so I might have overlooked something, alright? I've played 400 games and then I theorized replays, so that doesn't go well with each other. So yeah, point out errors if you see any, alright? So let's go over to the next replay. Alright, Wolfeys' team has a big problem with Garchomp, so I might as well just set up hyper fast here. Actually, I'm not doing, like, yeah, the Rill Beam switches in. We go for Volt Switch, so we guarantee to get a Misted Rain up, so the Will-O-Wisp never connects with the Garchomp. We get Max Quake Boost, so we increase the special defense, and yeah. Urshifu is in. We're just gonna just switch out. We're gonna go for Max Quake and Urshifu to bring it down. Almost bring it down to Focus Sash. This Rill Beam is doing absolutely nothing. Surging Strikes goes the Urshifu with Rough Skin. That's just great to see. Drum Solo does absolutely nothing. This Coalossal would probably faint through Protect. And yeah, Rillaboom is unable to win the rest of the matchup right here. I believe I switch around like crazy here. Oh yeah, they crit me, that's just great, but... Thunderbolt, Rock Slide, Thunderbolt, Small Stance, Thunderbolt, Rock Slide. GG, yeah, alright. So yeah, this matchup is pretty easy. Very, very easy. Alright, the dual horse matchup, let's go over that. So... Again, logically, they cannot really bring Glastrier in, because the Celesteela would counteract it. They cannot bring in the Aleki in, or else the Garchomp would counteract it. So the safest option is to go with Spectrier for the opponent. So let's try to see how that matchup goes. So basically, I'd say they've Helping Hands turn 1. We set up Light Screen, so we take the attack a little bit better. We take that completely fantastically. We're just gonna get the Steel Spike off, Chaotic Clefairy, and get a special attack boost. Now we're gonna go and get a Trick off against Spectrier, so it attacks last. Oh yeah, no Helping Hand boost, so we actually barely take this attack. That's great. And we're bringing this Urshifu down to Focus Sash, and at this point the Spectrier... yeah, by the way, we outwit both Urshifu and Spectrier here, so... They needed to go for a Sucker Punch, or else this Celesteela would make even more mess. And you're seeing here, Spectrier moving last is just awful for it. Rillaboom switches in, but at this point this is over. So let's go for Hyper Fast again. Spirit Break does good damage. Yeah, if I get plus Surging Strikes, could get annoying. Wicked Blow, yeah, but just Spirit Break for the knockout. And Spectrier has no business being in this late game with Lagging-Tail. So yeah, this is another pretty easy one, I'd say. Oh yeah, if you see a Lucky though, just switch to Garchomp and they're going to get completely walled with Light Screen. They cannot even like do much to Grimmsnarl, so yeah, that's the plan. Alright, the Metagross matchup. Alright, let's go and see what we got here. Regieleki, Metagross. So basically, I believe... The problem with the Tornadus Metagross late they could go for is the fact that the Celesteela could just straight up pull them out, right? So basically, Steel Spike would make them kind of more resistant to Metagross's attacks, and Celesteela with Assault Pass takes no damage from the Hurricane's Horizon Wind, so yeah. They will probably want to go with Aleki instead. So yeah, they probably will switch turn 1, which is annoying. Bring their Urshifu in with Earthquake, and we do big damage to Metagross. We max Flare before they can usually attack, so that's great. And they're probably just straight up gonna knock out the Garchomp, alright. Aleki comes in, which is interesting. Also, look at this deck, alright. We're gonna go for Electro Web here. We're gonna knock out the Metagross thanks to the Magnet boost, and we're gonna get the Airstream boost to not only make the Celesteela faster, but also Aleki faster, which makes us guaranteed outspeed their Aleki, get Electro Web off before they can attack, and now we are guaranteed to outspeed the Aleki by 1 point thanks to us being timid. So straight up Regieleki faints, and the game is over. Regardless of whatever they got in the back, this is just over. Yep, this is the guaranteed knockout. So yeah, thank goodness for timid Celesteela in this matchup, alright? Alright, so the Nut Core. Basically, they will not go with Rotom Heat, or they might want to go with it, but the problem is the Electro Web plus Max Rockfall does way too much damage, and helping in the Max Flare does not count Celesteela, and I believe the Celesteela's Max Rockfalls would be way too annoying for it to handle, so I think Thundurus lead is a little bit better for them to go with. Yeah. Like, Electro Web Max Rockfall, Electro Web Max Rockfall, that would be way too annoying for them to deal with. It would deal too much damage to Rotom Heat, and Garchomp would most likely just reverse clean up. I'm not sure what I'm going for here, but I'm gonna trust myself, alright? I don't remember this reply too well. Oh yeah, wait, we can still Dynamax, alright. That's easy then. Rockfall, straight up KOs Thundurus. And the same would apply, for example, for Rotom Heat late, right? So it didn't really matter what we pick. Yeah. Yeah. Oof, yeah. This Garchomp in the back is annoying to deal with. So let's just go for Hyper Fast. Max Quake guaranteed knockout. Regieleki, Sucker Punch, Thunderbolt, guaranteed knockout, that's a win. So the key to victory is remove Clefairy and then reverse sweep with Garchomp. Regardless of whatever they got, Garchomp very probably just reverse sweeps, alright? Yeah. And the last replay I'm gonna show you today is the Rain mode, so... I think we're gonna use Grimmsnarl here for Great Fruition with Light Screen, or not, I did not remember. Alright. Of course we are, alright? So the problem is, this Kingdra plus Politoed hit very hard, and basically this is a one-shot, but we outspeed the Politoed, which is Specs, so it doesn't have much bulk, alright? So we get the special attack and speed boost, Rillaboom comes in, they do not really have anything to switch into, alright, but it's kind of funny. Basically, if they would switch into a Raichu, I believe we just straight up outspeed and KO it with Max Rockfall because it's Assault Vested. And it doesn't really do much either, because Assault Vest doesn't have Eerie Impulse, so we don't really kind of care. And if you would just kind of just easily set up Calm Mind, and they get outspeed in one shot, and Celesteela gets set up on with Calm Mind. So the only option they got left is Rillaboom or Entei just gets outspeed on Rockfault, so Rillaboom is the only option, which is again wrong, because it is Choice Banded, it cannot protect. So Airstream is straight up going to be a clean knockout on it. Also, if you're wondering, like, what if they max Geyser to the Celesteela turn 1? It wouldn't really matter, because we, again, you see here, we just take, we take 2 max Geysers, so it's not much of a problem, right? So we just would be able to KO the Politoed and then maybe just Fake Tears and Airstream the Kingdra for the one-shot, alright? So, and Incineroar plus Feeny pretty much finish off anything in the back. Even the Rillaboom would not probably have a good time in Misty Terrain intimidated, alright? So I don't think that would have been much of a problem. And yeah, Moonblast finishes this matchup off in clean fashion, alright? So let's move to the last section of the video, and that's counters. Alright, so counters for this team are quite difficult to find, I'm gonna say, because how ridiculously difficult it is to counteract all of these Pokemon. They got completely different weaknesses, and usually these weaknesses are very obscure. So for Celesteela, it's just Electric and Fire, and for Eleki, it's just Ground. So, and Eleki is very fast and just can kind of like KO and add speed everything, so it's kind of hard to find counters for everything, but I think I found pretty good 3 counters, both for support and 3 for offense. So Dragapult is the first thing that I want to mention. And the idea is Max Phantasm matches up with the defense raises with the Celesteela, and you outspeed Celesteela at +1 speed, which is another great bonus. So for example, you go for Max Ghost, then they go for attack, then you go for Max Ghost, drop the defense, and let the Urshifu finish the Celesteela off with -1 defense. Even if you want to combo with something like a Choice Band Urshifu with Wicked Blow, you can straight up go for Max Phantasm, and Wicked Blow straight up picks it up. Because I believe Wicked Blow does, like, as you saw in the video, 47% to Dynamax Celesteela if it's at -1. With Choice Band it does probably over 70, and Life Orb Max Phantasm does well over 30%, so that can be quite a good counter combo. And Dragapult, of course, counteracts Garchomp perfectly. Max Dragon, Life Orb just straight up outspeed and one-shot. And if not, if they're like more bulkier, you drop their attack so they do not one-shot you back. So that's great, alright? And of course, Eleki just kind of gets walled, and I believe even one-shotted with Max Phantasm. Probably not the bulky Eleki, but I believe Max Phantasm does enough damage for it to just get picked off by basically any priority attack. Also, if you want a good advice, what to run next to Dragapult, try running a Clefairy next to it and get a Dragon Dance. This way you actually outspeed Eleki, guaranteed, and then you just one-shot their if like you got Clefairy next to it, you just straight up one-shot the Clefairy and then you just reverse sweep, because rest of the Eleki's team is just probably not gonna take that ever. It certainly gets one-shotted by Max. Basically every single Pokemon on the team just gets one-shotted then, so yeah, I think this would be a great combo. So if you're looking for like a combo on your team, your main combo still. Dragon Dance plus Clefairy. Dragon Dance Dragon plus Clefairy is a great combo. This is like the second option you want to go for. Basically, if you go like for a lot of defense on Ghidorah, I believe you might need to go for more, but I believe you just can take the Max Dragon. If you got Intimidate support, you definitely take the Max Dragon from Garchomp and you just straight up one-shot back with your own Max Dragon. Also, Celesteela and Regieleki have tough time breaking through this because they got high special defense and you can strike them with, for example, Max Flare or Max Thunderbolt. I think Flamethrower is actually better because the Sun boost is better than the Electric Terrain boost and they can really break through you. And Machop just straight up does too much damage to Regieleki, so yeah. Also, Ghidorah can be used as a semi-counter to Sun because it's immune to Sleep Powder, so I think that's great as well. And of course, the Ghidorah can be also Naganadel. Naganadel beats the Grimmsnarl they got on the team with Max Ooze. Max Dragon again just simply outspeeds and KOs the Garchomp. Max Flare greatly annoys Celesteela. I think the matchup against Aleki is a little bit iffy because I believe Helping and Max Lightning might just straight up one-shot you if the Aleki is too strong, but it still resists it, so with little bulk I think you should be able to just take that. Yeah, and Max Dragon does big damage to Regieleki back as well. The third counteraction I want to talk to about is Tapu Koko with Life Orb. Yeah, Tapu Koko can be used instead of Regieleki sometimes because it counteracts both Celesteela and Garchomp and probably can take one hit from Regieleki, although do not quote me on that again. Helping Hand plus Life Orb Max Lightning probably just straight up one-shots your Koko, so you see, this is why like it's kind of difficult to find counteraction for like every single one of them. Then it just but Tapu Koko is pretty much perfect counteraction for the both Garchomp and Celesteela. If you want a tip what to run next to it, run Grimmsnarl with Light Screen. You take the Max Lightning from Regieleki, and with Fake Tears Boost you finish just straight up one-shot Garchomp at -2 and one-shot Celesteela at -2 as well. So yeah, and of course Max Starfall also just KOs or does big damage to Grimmsnarl as well, so that's just great. Now the more supportive options. With Berry, Sylveon takes -2. At -2 it still takes Max Steel Spike from Celesteela, so that's great. And because Celesteela is above the ground, Yawn is going to affect it regardless of whatever terrain they're running, so Yawn is going to be great. You Yawn at Celesteela, their sweep is halted, and then your own Dynamax Sweeper can take over this game. Like the ones I just recommended to you. Hyper Rose is also great because it hits it probably to it KOs Regieleki, it probably to it KOs Garchomp, and it probably to it KOs Grimmsnarl. So Hyper Rose is great to just chip away at them as well. Thundurus is the second option I want to talk about. Irium Pulse straight up shuts down both Celesteela and Aleki, so you can just straight up lower their attacking power. And if Garchomp wants to set up Swords Dance, you can go for full play and damage it way too hard. So it's not good idea. So basically, they cannot set up. They cannot go for sweep with their special attackers. So the only thing that's really missing is KOing a Garchomp, and then you're just golden. Yeah. Citrus Bird with max defense also I believe allows you to take max Rockfall from Garchomp. Not sure about Life Orb 1, but you're gonna take the Life Orb plus 1 just fine, and you will still get your full play off. And of course, Thundurus also allows for speed control with Thunder Wave, so I believe Thundurus fits on a lot of teams, I'm gonna say, alright. And last option is Venusaur. Even if you're not running Sun, Venusaur is still great because G-Max Fine Lash just wins you some games. It's ridiculous effect. G-Max Fine Lash is one of the main options against the Garchomp, since if it again wants to set up Swords Dance, it's gonna get hit by the G-Max Fine Lash for like over 60%, then Fine Lash hits for another 16%, and Garchomp suddenly doesn't want to really Dynamax with 26% left on its health. So yeah, Max Quake allows you to counteract Regieleki pretty much perfectly, because your special bulk is great. It's great. With Dynamax, Max Lightning doesn't even do it KO you, and you go for Max Quake to just retaliate back, and Celesteela gets simply shut down by Sleep Powder. So yeah, although it's a little bit inaccurate, you know, so Sleep Powder, you might want to run White Lens if you fear this, but Sleep Powder is just straight up great. And if you want to use Dynamax, again, even against Celesteela, Copper Berry definitely helps you take the max Earthstream. So yeah, These are 3 supporters and 3 main sweepers you want to probably use against this archetype. Hopefully you learned something new, and I'll catch you next week. See ya!